Hello, everyone, and welcome to Price Lanes, Price's Corner, Wilmington. Len Holmquist in company with Ward Novak, the secretary of the Wilmington Bowling Association. And we're set to bring you the title match in the Bowlers Gazette Youth Top 10 Major Boys Competition. And this is Archie Leatherbury, 16-year-old left-hander, who's got himself a problem in this first frame. Looks to the sky and will have to do it himself. Ward.
That's okay. Archie's been around a while. He's 16 years old, but I've seen his name in the top 20 for a couple years. He's a 205 average bowler, has a high game of 289, and a high series of 789. So he knows what he's doing.
He could whip you.
Yes, he could.
Let's see if he can cover the spare. Tough one. Almost gets that head pin to fly around and kick out the 7, but it won't happen for him. Archie is a bowler out of the First State Junior program, and he's taking on Scott Thornton, who has come up the ladder, so to speak, in the Major Boys competition. He was seeded 5th into the finals, but won 3 consecutive matches, defeating Al Thompson Jr. Then he defeated Dan Hutchison. And in the semifinal match, this, of course, off camera, he defeated Eddie Rini to reach this title match against Archie Leatherbury. Scott Thornton, 16 years of age, goes to Alexiside upon High School. He's in the 11th grade, averages 200 in league play competition, high game. He's got one of those perfect games, and he has a high series of 780. He opens with a count on the spare. And you know, so far in our Bowlers Gazette Youth Top 10 Championship competition, the #1 seed has been the winner. Will that string continue?
I don't know. I'm afraid to say at this point.
It's been that kind of a long day.
Well, we've got two really talented players, and Scott has that contemporary open shoulder, open play where he gets the ball through with a lot of power and a lot of revolutions.
And he comes off his spare shot with a resounding strike.
Archie, I noticed, has his TNBA shirt. For those that aren't aware, that's the National Bowling Association. It was originally started as a result of the fact that back in the early days of the American Bowling Congress, the American Bowling Congress wouldn't recognize black members. So as a result, the TNBA sprung up, and today they recognize everybody. And they're still in existence, and they're part of the bowling family.
And some of the really fine bowlers in our area have come through the TNBA competition. I know that Dad Archie is very proud of his young son Archie III. Archie and Barbara Leatherbury. 5-pin cover, no problem for Archie.
And I'm sure Julia Nelson over First State is really, really proud of Archie and his accomplishments.
16 years of age, and he's been bowling 12 years. He's a veteran of the game. Bowls in the TNBA juniors, 16-pound ball. All of these strong young men, they all throw 16-pound balls. It's not until you reach your age you start dropping back to 15 and 14 again.
Yeah, I'm back to 15.
And next year 14.
But my carry was better this year.
Oh, well, then stay with that 15-pound ball. Good-looking left-hander. A little bit off balance at the line.
But he gets the messenger.
He got a couple of them.
Yeah,
one stopped in front, and the other said, well, I'll help you take him out. So Archie Leatherbury with his first strike in our match. He counts 29 through the second with the strike in the third. Now Scott Thornton will try to double up. Rooting on for Scott is mom Jerry, his mom Cindy, and his dad Jerry. And I'm sure his brothers Jason and Terry, brother and sister, they're rooting him on as well.
I noticed he went kind of wide with that.
Terry he's got two brothers, Jason and Terry.
Terry and yeah.
And he got back.
And he got back, and nobody else I've seen throw that line today has been able to recover from there.
Evidently a little bit more turn on the ball, a little more torque on the ball.
I think he's got a lot more torque on the ball.
From Scott. Swings it out, back into the pocket, and they all fly, and he's got himself a 3-bagger, and he's really put the pressure on the top seed, Archie Leatherbury, and all of our top seeds, as we pointed out a little while ago, they've all been winners. So Archie Leatherbury III has got a lot of work right in front of him right now, and he better start doing it. And I think he knows that more than we can tell him.
Yeah, he knows that Scott's on. And the other interesting thing is we haven't had a left-hander on this pair today.
No, he's got everything fresh, and boy, what a solid-looking strike from Archie. Ate up those pins with that 16-pound danger zone. Keeps checking the score to just make sure that his strike goes up there, and it does. He's got a double. He'll try to emulate his opponent, Scott, who has already placed a turkey on the board for the first time in this game. Good, strong delivery. A little bit off balance again. Sometimes I think he tries to throw it just a little bit too hard. You don't have to throw it through the back of the unit.
No, but I also noticed that he's checking his shoes after each time he goes up.
So he may be having a slipping problem. That doesn't bode well, because he's got a good strong game to the line, and if you're slipping at the line with that kind of power in your game, your footwork,
right,
you have a problem. Tries to cover a tough spare and does so nicely.
It was a much better shot the second time. He was more solid at the line.
We'll continue with this championship match in the Major Boys Division of the Bowlers Gazette Youth Top 10 Tournament in just a moment. Back at Price Lanes, Len Holmquist in company with Ward Novak as we continue play in our competition of Major Boys in the Bowlers Gazette Youth Top 10 Tournament. Scott Thornton working on a 3-bagger up on lane 4.
I noticed here that Scott indicates that he did attend the Dick Ritker Bowling Academy, and when he came back, he improved his average from 162 to 192.
4-bagger. It's amazing what a little good instruction will do you.
And then after that, it says, in one season, I bowled my first 299 1 month after returning from the camp, and the first 300 after 3 months having gone to the camp.
What's the toughest thing, Ward, about bowling a 300? Mentally or physically?
I think it's mentally. Physically, once you get the game down, you just keep repeating the things. What happens is mentally you start thinking about what you're about to accomplish, and the knees start to wobble, and you start to sweat. Your hand tightens up a little bit, and that 12th ball is like pulling the trigger on.
But let me ask you honestly, the fact that high scoring is the norm now in bowling. It has been for quite a few years. Has, in your opinion, has much of the luster off of the perfect game, the big series, gone out of this competition?
I think it has, and it's witnessed anytime somebody throws a 290 or a 300. Used to be that the crowd would just go nuts in the bowling center because somebody accomplished something that's a lifelong achievement. And today, somebody rolls a 300 game and barely a ripple's heard.
Is there a way to bring that excitement back to the game and back to such a high-scoring game? Tough question, I understand.
I don't think you'll ever see it. I think people, it's kind of like you can give away the bank, but you can't take it back. And I think now that we've allowed this scoring to go the way it has, what we're going to have to do is adjust the game. We've had a perfect 900 series, in fact, this year.
Archie Leatherbury's got a bucket on the right side that he needs to pick up. By the way, Scott Thornton, his streak of strikes stopped at 4. Picked up his spare in the 6th frame, and he has this match so far in hand. But of course, you've got to remember, with that contemporary game, one little slight slip and it can go awry in a hurry. So let's see if he can stay focused. Here is Archie Leatherbury III, and he's going to chop 2 out of the 4, and he's got himself trouble now because his count with an open frame in the 6th is only 100, and he is digging himself a hole, and we are about to see that string of #1 seeds win in the Bowlers Gazette Top 10 Tournament come to an end, I believe, unless he can really get it together, and he's going to need some help from his opponent.
Yeah, at this point, it looks like Scott's pretty well got him down 50 pins or more, and for Archie to come back, he's going to have to put a bunch of strikes together, and he's absolutely capable of doing it.
Nice low knee bend, little sliding at the line, and he'll have the 10-pin to cover. 205 average, high game 289, as we told you. His opponent, of course, we pointed out, Scott, has a 300 game to his credit, also a 299 as well. Mom and Dad, Archie and Barbara Leatherbury, got their son involved in the game of bowling. And he'll run by the 10-pin, and sayonara to the title chances for Archie in this game.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a mental breakdown. It's certainly not his physical game. He has the ability to put it together, and it's just, I think he's thinking about something else.
Well, he's probably thinking about the score that his opponent is posting, and that doesn't help because Scott is pretty much on a roll. 9-pin win, 7-pin win. Scott Thornton started out as the number 5 seed, as we told you, and before our competition in this championship game, he was a winner, 211 to 178 over Al Thompson Jr. He defeated Dan Hutchison, 193 to 141, and he defeated Ed Reaney, 183 to 172, and this is going to be his biggest game yet. Trying to double up here in the 8th frame, goes a little high. Seemed to let up just a little bit with his speed, and of course with that kind of game, his contemporary game, that will generally cost you at the head pin area.
Yeah, it caused him to get across the lane a little bit quick, and he got into the dry area much sooner, so as a result the ball overreacted.
Spare shot is made easily, and he counts 168 in the 7th with a spare up in the 8th frame, and it's just a matter of completing this game before Scott is crowned our champion. 11th grader at Alexis Ida Pond High School, and he'll be able to have bragging rights with his classmates, his fellow Tigers at AI.
Yeah, Scott's running at about 220 clip, and Archie gets that strike, but if he strikes out, he's going to shoot 199.
He needed that a lot earlier. He knows it. These young men, they compete a lot. I know that Archie has probably played some in the Junior Bowlers Tour. Scott Thornton has a Junior Bowlers Tour, 2 handicap titles, 4 scratch titles. He's currently ranked 2nd in the Pennsylvania division of the Junior Bowlers Tour, 4th in the Delaware division. Had a wealth of experience in competition.
And Archie has represented Delaware at the Nationals and the Coca-Cola Scholarship Tournament, the Youth Bowling Championships, and he's got 4 JBT titles.
Oh, the messenger. Maybe a little late with the message, but Archie says, hey, I still got something left in this left arm. It ain't over yet for me. Although I may not win the title, I will go out with a blaze of strikes. Scott has it all but wrapped up here. Trying to finish strong. Got it all working for him. Mom and Dad, Jerry and Cindy, rooting him on.
And that pretty much locked it out. I don't really think Scott just needs some count here to go over the 199.
Everywhere you look with these young bowlers today, that power game, that very contemporary game with the wide open shoulder, that seems to be the way to go.
Well, it's as we talked about earlier, the lane conditions today are set up in such a way that you're going to score high, playing the contemporary winded up game. Unfortunately, the only thing that it hurts is spare shooting, as you can see there. Well, we can throw a lot of strikes, but it takes you out of that groove for shooting spares.
There's your champion, Scott Thornton. We're going to follow Archie Leatherbury out. Scott Thornton ending with a 216 effort. That'll be enough to win. He'll be the first non-number 1 seed to win in our title competition in the Bowlers Gazette Youth Top 10 Championship competition. He wins the Major Boys title over Archie Leatherbury, the number 1 seed.
We're going to hear a lot about Archie, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, left-handers have a little bit of a better condition for the most part because of the lack of play on the left side, and he's going to run into a situation like this every once in a while, but as a general rule, his power game is going to serve him very, very well.
Absolutely. And he's a lot of fun to watch. I think
yeah.
He's going to be a super player.
He's animated. He's got expression. the worst thing that can happen to our game is have a bunch of people out there bowling in high caliber competition and not caring. And he certainly shows a willingness to care a little bit, and we need that.
Well, it's a good opportunity, too, for somebody like me to sit here and look at what's coming up and see who we can scout out for our new teams.
Well, yeah, and puts you closer to retirement also, doesn't it?
That's it.
He'll leave on his final count, the 7-pin. But your champion is Scott Thornton, that young man right there. Scott Thornton defeating Archie Leatherbury for the title, 216 to 176, to wrap up the Bowlers Gazette Youth Top 10 Major Boys competition. Our congratulations to Scott Thornton and to the #1 seed, Archie Leatherbury. Kim Campanelli, she's the major girls champion with the soda in her hand. Scott Thornton is the boys major division champion. For Ward Novak, this is Len Holmquist from Price Lanes. Hope you've enjoyed the competition, everyone. Good night.